So in my last video, back when Bitcoin was trading around $57,000, I told you guys that the price of Bitcoin was highly likely to fall between $53,000 and $54,000 and then pump after that. Since then, we've seen Bitcoin do exactly just that. The price of Bitcoin fell to $53,800 and it pumped to $63,000, gaining over 15% in just 1 week. If you are a subscriber to the channel, then you should have profited from that. So now we are very close to getting the Bitcoin Futures ETF. But in this video, let's take a look at something concerning happening in Bitcoin's chart. Most of us that have been in the crypto market for at least one full cycle know this. Some may have forgotten and some may not know this at all. But anytime Bitcoin pumps more than 40% from a local low, we usually get a 10 to 15% pullback. And if Bitcoin ignores that and it keeps pumping, then that's when we usually get a 20 to 35% pullbacks. So I'm not being bearish in this video. I'm just telling you this is what Bitcoin usually does. Now let's quickly look at the crypto fear and greed index for the market sentiment. So on the crypto fear and greed index, we are currently sitting at 79, and this is considered extreme greed. From the chart, we see that we are getting deeper and deeper into the extreme greed phase of the cycle. From the past history, we see that every time we get past 80, between 80 and 90, that is when we usually have a change in sentiment, in market sentiment, right? So all the excitement and greed that we have in this phase usually turns around, and we have a little bit of fear coming into the market. Okay, now let's quickly look at Bitcoin's chart. On Bitcoin's chart, we see that the price of Bitcoin has managed to break above another major resistance zone, right? So this resistance zone that sits in between, or supply zone that sits in between $55,000 and $60,000, the price of Bitcoin is currently trading above that. In the past, or just a month ago, we see another major resistance zone over here. The price of Bitcoin was trading in between that resistance zone. The price broke above it, but the price couldn't hold above it, and then the price fell, right? So we see similarities between now and just a month ago. We have the rising wedge pattern over here. So this rising wedge pattern, and we also have the same pattern over here, right? This same rising wedge pattern, we also have that over here. But in the past, we couldn't hold above it, and then we fell. I'm now hoping or praying that we fall this time. It will be good if the price just holds above the rising wedge pattern, which is usually a bearish indicator, right? Normally the price will break to the base of the rising wedge, right? So I'm now hoping that happens. I hope we just consolidate above like between $60,000 and $63,000, then break above $64,000. That would be very perfect. That would be the perfect bullish price action for Bitcoin. But let's bring up the VPVR, the volume profile. And then we see that in the past, a huge amount of Bitcoins or a high volume of Bitcoin were not traded in this region, right? So it should have been easy for the price of Bitcoin to break above that, right? But there's there's definitely something concerning over here, since the price of Bitcoin seems to be starting the consolidation over here, which is good for me, but it's also concerning, and we cannot ignore that, right? But let's go to the 4-hour time frame. And on the 4-hour time frame, let me turn on some indicators, and let me remove the VPVR, the volume profile. And from the MACD on the 4-hour time frame, right, we see that there's a possible reversal, right? So the momentum seems to be dying down, right? So it looks like there's a possible reversal on the 4-hour time frame, right? And when we look at the squeeze momentum, we see that the upward burst, so from this point, the upward burst of momentum that pushed us above the rising wedge. This was because of the Bitcoin ETF, right? So that upward burst of momentum seems to be dying down, right? So there are a lot of confusing or conflicting viewpoints at the moment, right? So this is what I have planned for the next 2 to 3 days. For the next 2 to 3 days, this is my bullish position. If the price of Bitcoin breaks $63,000, then I will consider this pullback that we are having as just confirmation of the breakout, right? The breakout out of the ascending wedge pattern. But if the price of Bitcoin breaks below $60,000, right, then I see Bitcoin go into my first bearish price target at $57,000, right? Or $57,500. If Bitcoin is not able to hold above $57,500, then definitely there's a high chance the price of Bitcoin would go to $54,000. And this is my second bearish price target. And if it doesn't hold above $54,000, then we will go see $52,000. So for the next 2 to 3 days, I'll be watching the $63,000 and the $60,000 price level. If the price of Bitcoin breaks above $63,000, then I definitely see Bitcoin taking out that all-time high, sitting at $64,000 and heading towards 100K. But if the price of Bitcoin breaks below $60,000, then I definitely see Bitcoin going for my first bearish price target, sitting at $57,000, and probably pump from there. But if the price doesn't hold above $57,000, then I definitely see Bitcoin going to $54,000 or maybe $52,000 before going back for the pump. All right, make sure to help our brother out. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. My name is Seth and I make money videos. So if making money is something that you're interested in, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And also let me know what other coin you would like me to cover in the comment section.